Some children need a hug and others are just going to push you away. And this is why. In my last video, I talked about regulation and co-regulation. And today I want to take that one step further. Because once parents understand this next piece, it really starts to click seamlessly for you. So children don't regulate the same way. In fact, there are 5 different primary ways that children regulate. So just like adults, they have very different nervous system preferences, different ways they seek safety, they seek security, they seek that calm, and they seek connection with you primarily. So I call these the regulation languages. And when we miss a child's regulation language, nothing we seem to do works. We can talk all we like, we can cuddle, we can give them space, whatever we do just isn't going to hit home. And that's because we're not giving them what they need for their regulation language. So today I'm going to walk you through the 5 regulation languages, and this is definitely just not to label your child, but it's really to help you understand how they're asking you for support, so that this way you and your child can have the best outcome together. Okay, to start, I want to make this exceptionally clear that this is definitely not putting your child in a box. No, 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 no. This is about understanding their nervous system and how it feels safest, especially under stress. For example, if they're having a meltdown. So most conflict happens when parents, not that they don't care, but because they're offering the wrong kind of regulation in the moment. So we know about attachment theory, we know about the polyvagal theory, we know about child development, and that children regulate through relationships, primarily with their parents. They're the number ones. Now, before they can calm themselves, they borrow their calm from us, and this is something called co-regulation. So when a child is born, they can't self-regulate. So when we pick them up, we cuddle them, we soothe them, these are all forms of co-regulating. We also know that these regulations languages are the patterns that we see constantly over and over again in families, when I go and educate in schools, I do workshops with businesses, I teach CEOs, I teach executives with adults. I see these just playing out time and time again. Okay, so let's get straight into it. The first language is physical connection. Touch, feeling, cuddles. So some children regulate through that physical closeness. They need to be held, they need to be around you. The best form might be just picking them up and having them sit on your lap. It might be having them lie next to you. It might be holding them and just cuddling, getting on their level and just giving them a hug. Whatever it is, they need that physical touch and that physical closeness. So when they're dysregulated, distance feels really unsafe. If you say to them, right, I've had enough, go to your room, for example, that is probably the worst thing you can do for a child that needs physical connection, because you're creating space, and what they need is your closeness. They need you to be around them when they're having this dysregulated state. A few signs to look out for when a child's regulation language is physical connection is they get very clingy when they're upset. So they might just want to be around you. They might just be pulling on your hand or grabbing your leg, whatever it might be. They also seek hugs. They also need that physical affection. And they also calm down very quickly when that happens. So when they are being held, you can actually feel their nervous system start to re-regulate, start to calm down. That parasympathetic nervous system in the autonomic nervous system is activated. So they're going into that nice rest and digest system again because they feel calm and they feel safe. So that is really, really important. Okay, so let's get on with number 2. The second regulation language is movement and release. So some children need to move to regulate. That's how it works for their nervous system. So they might run, they might jump, they might pace around, they might fidget with things. That's their body telling them that this is a great way of releasing all that stress, all that emotion that they're carrying. So their nervous system releases that stress through motion and movement. That's the greatest way for them to move on. So asking these children to just sit still or calm down for a moment, just stay there, is probably the worst thing you can do. Again, that's just going to escalate things because they need that movement. That's their body tuning in, listening to what they need. So for them, movement is actually regulation. Might not be for you, but this is for your child. So a great thing you can do, some great examples might be going and jumping if you have a trampoline, or just jumping outside or inside, or going up to a wall and pushing against it, using all your force and really getting a lot of that anger or frustration, whatever they might be feeling. Picking up something really heavy that's safe for them, that they're not going to drop, but in that moment, if they can just pick up something and then put it down again, and pick it up and put it down, whatever it is, just using movement and being able to release all that stored energy. But again, so that's great for your child. For you, don't forget, it's about regulating yourself. So using your breath, calming yourself down, doing those longer exhales, which is perfect for you to get yourself self-regulated while they are doing that co-regulation, and you're learning what their regulation is. So it's great for them to be moving and jumping around, but for you just to remain calm, be that presence that they really need, that presence in and around that close proximity, making sure they're always safe, but also being there for them. So mirror neurons can just pick up on that connection and they'll calm themselves down through movement and release. So the third one is emotional expression. So this is about children that really need to be heard and they need to be validated. So some children need to express what they're feeling out loud. They need to verbalize it. They might cry, they might talk about it, they might repeat the story, or they might just vent at you and just rah, 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 this happened and then this happened. This is if they're able to communicate verbally, obviously. So just remember that they're not being dramatic. They're just processing. Their nervous system is processing, and this is their regulation language. So for those children, fixing the problem too quickly for them, oh, well, I'll do it, that can be quite dismissive. They might think they haven't had that opportunity to do that themselves, and that's maybe what they need. So it's really important to make your child feel heard and validated. So their emotional expression is really encompassed, whatever that might be in the moment. And these can change. And just also know that might be their primary regulation language, but sometimes the secondary one, we all have secondary ones as well, that might come into play. So whatever it is, it's up to figuring it out in the moment, and I'll be able to delve into that more in a later video. But for now, we're just sticking with those primary regulation languages. And for those that need emotional expression, it's very important that you validate them, you let them be heard, and you let them regulate their nervous system through that validation, as well as keeping yourself calm. To number 4, which is predictability and structure. So some children regulate through predictability and knowing what's coming next, which helps their body feel safe. Your child might get upset if the plans change, for example, or they might ask lots of questions about what's happening next. What are we doing? Where are we going? What's this? And that's their way of self-regulating. They could also struggle with transitions. It might be saying, okay, we're leaving the park now, or we're stopping doing this activity, and then we might go into that meltdown stage. So really great ways to assist your child with this is just giving clear warnings before these transitions. So, okay, in 5 minutes, we're going to be leaving the park, and then we're going to be doing this. So they know exactly what's happening and what the next step is. And just keeping really simple, predictable routines for them, and always naming what's coming next. Okay, so we're going to clean our teeth, and then we will read our bedtime story and put our pajamas on, and then we're going to bed. So they have a really clear indication of their predictability and their structure. They know exactly what's happening, and then they're going to feel more regulated and more calm within themselves. Okay, and lastly, number 5 is quiet presence. So some children regulate through you just being there, you just being near them and just remaining quiet. So they don't need words, they don't need, I'll fix this, they don't need to be asked questions. Oh, why did you do this? What's happening? They just need you there, grounded, calm and quiet. Your child might get really upset if you talk too much. That might be a cue. They might pull away from touch when they're dysregulated. They might not want to be near you. And they might calm actually faster when you're close by them, but you're not engaging with them. So you're just there, you're just a presence. So some little tips of supporting them might be just to sit by them without talking. They might be there, you just sit there and just let yourself co-regulate with them. Or you keep your body just very relaxed, very open, and really just let silence do the work. Or you might just say one word or two words and then refrain from talking again and just be around them. So leaving is probably one of the worst things you can do. You want to be close to them, but you also want to be calm and quiet. That's really important, because that quiet presence is what regulates them. So it's very important to know that there's no right or wrong regulation language, and most children will have a primary one and then a secondary regulation language as well. So what matters most is noticing the patterns and being able to respond in the right language, and then noticing that that behaviour often shifts. So we're not using punishment, we're not using struggles, we're just responding with how our child needs to regulate. So in the next upcoming videos, I'm going to share with you how to use these regulation languages in real moments. So it might be through meltdowns or tantrums or bedtimes or breakfasts, whatever it might be. We'll go through real life moments, and we're also going to teach you how to stay regulated, because when things can get overwhelming, it is very important for you to be able to know how to regulate yourself. And again, these are not tools we're taught as youngsters, but this is why I'm here to help you, so that you can then raise the next generation, your little kids, in a really healthy way. So just remember that co-regulation is not about being calm all the time, it's about repairing. And if you do lose it with your kids, make sure that you repair with them. That's really, really important afterwards. Thank you.